Well, it's a case that has sparked outrage, intense scrutiny, and national attention. The arrest of a deaf man with cerebral palsy by Phoenix police officers. Now, this happened back in August, but this video of that takedown, of that arrest, was just released a few days ago. The man was facing felony charges for allegedly assaulting police officers and resisting arrest. But yesterday, after careful and personal review by Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, all charges were dismissed. 12 News journalist Jade Cunningham is joining us now with more on these new developments. Jade?
Yeah, good evening, Trem. It was 2 months ago, almost to the day, when Tyron McAlpin was punched and tased multiple times by 2 Phoenix police officers. Now, this is body cam footage of the incident. It happened near a Circle K on August 19th. Phoenix police were initially called to that convenience store about a fight that started by a white man who reportedly wouldn't leave the store. That man then told officers McAlpin assaulted him. And that's when those officers approached McAlpin. McAlpin was booked on several felony charges, as you just heard. This includes felony assault and resisting arrest. He also faced a theft charge after a phone he had was believed to be stolen, but actually was McAlpin's phone. I spoke with McAlpin's attorney a few days ago, and he told me he was hopeful the Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell would drop the charges. And yesterday, she announced after careful consideration, she made the decision to do just that. That she looked at all photos, videos, and reports very closely and spoke with community members to get their thoughts.
At the end of the day, when you see this video, you see what happened, it raises a lot of flags that there's a problem here and something needs to be done. So I think her response is a needed response from all officials or people that govern, right? If your community is saying there's a concern or there's a problem, you should take the extra step to look and see what that is. You should not be an adversary, but we have to understand that we're one community together.
Now, we did reach out to Mitchell's office to see if she was available for an interview. We were told that she was not available. But coming up tonight at 6, we take a closer look at the decision to drop charges, including what the Phoenix Police Department has to say about it. Tram?
All right, Jade, thank you. Let's take a legal deep dive into this case. Joining me now is Hector Diaz of Diaz Law. All right, Hector, we just heard what Jade was reporting on about Rachel Mitchell's decision. What went into that decision? What factors did she consider as she was consulting with a number of officials on this case?
It had to be the body cam footage that we just saw. I mean, it's shocking. I've defended these kinds of cases previously, and what you expect here is a little bit of de-escalation by the officers, and what you see in the video is the opposite. The officer immediately jumps out, confronting this individual, and really, I mean, you question kind of the tactics and the manner in which this whole thing happened. It's just, and then you add to it that this McAlpin is in fact deaf and suffers with a disability, which likely factored into his overall perception of the issue. I mean, the right decision here was to drop the charges. It actually is surprising that, in fact, he was charged in terms of, there's probably going to be some review in terms of, the county looking at this and the decisions that went into charging him.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible video that we're watching right here. Now, on the flip side, though, PLEA, which is the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, they issued a statement in response to the county attorney's decision. Here's what it reads in part. At no time did Mr. McAlpin convey to them that he was hearing impaired or suffered from cerebral palsy. Our officers defended themselves against the attack of Mr. McAlpin. Now, the officers said that they were injured. In fact, one of them was apparently bitten by McAlpin. The other one broke his hand. Does PLEA have a point here?
I think this is a situation where the video speaks for itself. I understand that PLEA is going to stand by their officers and not to at all minimize these officers that are out in the street. They have an incredibly difficult job. They have to make decisions quickly.
In a split second.
In a split second. But this is a situation where you have to look at the training. You have to look at the fact that, the Phoenix Police Department has been questioned by the Department of Justice in terms of their tactics, in terms of how they are handling these situations. And no doubt, Phoenix Police Department is going to conduct their own internal review of what happened here.
Yeah, which leads me to my next question. You brought up the Department of Justice. Obviously, that report was released. If a lot of folks remember, back in June, it accused Phoenix PD of basically excessive force and discrimination. Does something like this add more fuel?
I think it definitely added to the discussion with the county attorney. If anybody's feeling pressure right now, it has to be those that are in power there at the Phoenix Police Department.
And they have to be under intense microscope, right? Absolutely. For every action, every arrest, every move they make.
Yeah, there's no question that the Department of Justice likely wanted to see the body cam here. They're going to want to see police reports. They may even come in and want to do interviews here in terms of, speaking to the officers in terms of their decisions and what went into, this unfortunate situation here.
Yeah. All right, Hector. Thank you so much. Rachel, over to you.